Hi and hello, welcome to online biology class because of Ideal&Adharsh Educational Institution and the UR. I am Sadish Kumar going to take down the class regarding the topic of organization of tissue. This is the 9th standard biological science portion. So we will see today's about two type of connective tissues. So number one connective tissue is called dense connective tissue and number two is called an fluid connective tissue. There are four different types of connective tissues are available. So today we are seeing about only the two types of connective tissue. One is called a dense connective tissue and another one is called an fluid connective tissue. So the dense connective tissue, we will see that the dense, that means thick and having the more particles present in the same place. So we will see about tendons and ligaments. And the fluid, that means which is in the form of a water substance, the water or fluid substance which consists of blood and lymph. So let us enter into this topic. Before that we will see some of the basic animation regarding the dense connective tissue. So the best example is the movement of our leg and the movement of our hand. So the two particles, one is called tendon and ligaments, which is jointly work together. Finally our body parts are function with a proper manner. So at the time of elongation and contraction and relaxation begin the each and every type of the tendon and ligaments, which is carried by the elongation and shrinking of the ligament particles which is available on this bone. So this is the another type of movement which is takes place by means of our hand. Then each and every type of tendon and ligaments which is play the vital role for movement of our hands. And this is the diagrammatic representation how the tiny particles and white semi-solid substance and soft bone which is located inside of this joint, and at the time of elongation and relaxation it is enlarged, and finally we are sit or stand in the flexible movement. It is takes place at the time of sitting, and the shrinking movement which takes place at the time of standing. By the continuation of this dense connective tissue, we can move on with the fluid connective tissue. So the fluid substance which is blood, the blood is passed on by means of the circulatory system. The main pumping organ of our body is called an heart. The heart which is receive this blood and pass on the blood from the various parts of the body. And second one, the heart, the one side which is takes place with oxygenated blood, and another side which is takes place with deoxygenated blood. And the blood which consists of a three component. So number one is called a red blood cell. So are red blood corpuscles or erythrocytes. So the red blood corpuscles are disc shaped and red in color, which play the vital role for carrying of oxygen from entire parts of the body. The presence of a special type of substance is called an hemoglobin. So this is the second type of blood cell, that is called an white blood corpuscles or leukocytes. They are normally two types. So one is called granulocyte and agranulocytes. So the granulocytes are three types: neutrophil, eosiophil and basophil. And agranulocytes are two type: lymphocyte and monocytes. So this is the white blood cell which is in the form of amoeboid shape, and prolonged nucleus are present, and by the same time they are play the vital role for body defense mechanism. Then from the continuation of this white blood cell, the last type of the blood cell, that is called blood platelets. The blood platelets is otherwise called thrombocytes. So which is done in the major mechanism of blood clotting mechanism to preventing the blood loss from the various parts of the body during the time of cut or any kind of injury. So the blood platelets is nothing but it is a broken particles of giant bone marrow. So the last animation of the lymph we can see about various types of organ system. The one of the major organ system is called a lymphatic organ system, which is available in entire parts of the body, the green color substance, and they are secreting a fluid is called lymph. So they are excess amount of secretion of lymph, they are formation of lymph node. So this is the diagrammatic representation. the lymph fluid, they have the connection between the blood and the body tissues. So we will see that the white color granules which is move on from the blood vessels, and the pink color substance that is called an body tissue, and by means of a connection between the blood and the body tissue which is carried by means of the substance is called an lymph. And this is the diagrammatic representation, the lymph which is covered with the blood cells. So the blood cell, they are consist of a plasma, the white color substance, and the plasma which carried with various types of the blood cells, and the blood cells are carried and connected and surrounded with the white color substance is called an lymph. So we have some kind of basic idea regarding that classes, so I will show you in the form of animation. Let us enter into the topic for the textual content. So now let us enter into the textual content regarding the dense and fluid connective tissue. First of all, what is dense connective tissue? It is a fibrous connective tissue and densely packed with the fibers and fibroblast. It is a principal component of tendon and ligaments. Two types of components are present for this dense connective tissue. One is called tendons and another one is called ligaments. So what is tendons? 2 mark question. They are a cord-like strong structures that join the skeletal muscles of bone. So they are connected with the bone within to the skeletal muscles. So we will see that the mutton stall, the leg piece. So the leg piece, the center portion is called bone. The bone is surrounded with the muscles. So the tendon, they are connect the muscles to the bone. The tendons have the great strength and limited flexibilities. So the muscles are having some kind of flexibilities. We can done our arms, so it will be enlarged a little bit and give some kind of strength. They are consist of parallel bundles of collagen fibers between the presence of 2 row of fibroblast. And this is the diagrammatic representation, the bone which is attached by the tendon, and their upper side they are having a muscles. And next one we will see about the ligaments. So they are highly elastic structure and have the great strength which connect the bone to bones, so which is available from the various parts of our joints, and they are connected the different types of bones. So for example, jacket bone which is located on our shoulder, kidney bone which is located on our bone, leg, they are connected by this kind of ligaments. They are containing a very little bit of matrix. They are strengthened and joined allow the normal movement. Only in this normal movement with this one direction, which is not in the anti-directional, which is done in the anti-directional by means of force, automatically our bone getting some kind of fractures. And this is the diagrammatic representation, the muscle and the bones which is connected by means of this substance. And a sprain is caused by the excessive pulling of the ligaments, which is in the form of a more to no question. They are creating some kind of injury from our leg, which is given from this diagram. And next one, we can move about the fluid connective tissue. Then the fluid connective tissue, the blood and lymph, the fluid connective tissue which link different part of the body. The cells of the connective tissue are loosely spaced and embedded an intracellular matrix. So within this cell and the body, the fluid substance are roaming around all our body. It is a continuous movement which is takes place from each and every day of our life. And first component is called blood. Blood is containing a corpals which are red blood cell, 1 mark question, erythrocyte, white blood cell, leukocyte, and platelets which is otherwise called thrombocytes. This fluid connective tissue blood move in the fluid matrix is called plasma. So blood is normally consist of 2 types of component. One is called plasma and another one is called blood cells. So the plasma which is consist of a protein material and a water substance, and the cells carpals which consist of 3 type of material: red blood cell, white blood cell, and blood platelets. And the plasma containing inorganic salt and organic substance, it may circulate the fluid with the help of transport of nutrient substance. So which is given from this representation. Blood, they are consist of 2 type of component, plasma and carpals. The serum and proteins are available, then RBC, WBC and platelets are present in this. And first one we will see about red blood corpals or erythrocytes. So red blood corpals are oval shaped, circular, biconcave disc-like cell, then lack of nucleus when it is mature, then mammalian RBC. So it is a biconcave, it's a disc like a idli shape, and the nucleus is absent because the nucleus place is occupied by hemoglobin content. They are containing a respiratory pigment is called hemoglobin, red color substance which is given by hemoglobin. A hemoglobin is a quaternary type of protein which is involved in transport of respiratory gases in the form of oxygen. At the time of inhaling, the RBC which is carried by the oxygen, and at the time of exhaling, they are taken out by in the form of carbon dioxide. And this is the diagrammatic representation by concave disc-like structure of RBC. And the white blood corpuscles are leukocytes. They are the larger size, containing a distinct nucleus or colorless. They are capable for amoeboid movement and play the important role for body defense mechanism. So the white blood cells are soldiers of our body. They are done in the defense mechanism by means of engulfing or destroying the foreign materials. So engulfing is otherwise called a cell-eating mechanism or apoptosis. And the white blood cells are two types. One is called granulocyte and agranulocytes. So granulocytes, which means the cytoplasm, they are containing a granule, is called granulocytes. Agranulocytes, which means a cytoplasm, they does not contain any kind of granules, is called an agranulocytes. So the granulocytes and the irregular shaped nuclei and cytoplasmic granules, they are in the form of three types: neutrophil, basophil, and eosinophils. And agranulocytes lack of cytoplasmic granules, and they are include lymphocyte and monocyte. The neutrophil, eosinophil, and basophil diagrams are given here. And blood platelets, it is a last component of the blood. They have the minute anucleated foliage fragment of the giant bone marrow called megakaryocytes. So I already told you from this animation, which is in the form of a broken particles of giant bone marrow. They play the important role for blood clotting mechanism. So they are preventing our body from the loss of blood during the accident or any kind of cut or any kind of fracture or any kind of injury. Otherwise, the blood it will be lost, and by the same time, our loss our life, and we are in the form of death. So which is prevented by means of blood clotting with the help of the blood platelets. And this is the diagrammatic representation of the giant broken bone marrow of the platelets. And the last component is called lymph. The lymph is a colorless fluid filtered out by the blood capillaries. So capillaries is nothing but it is in the form of fine tubules. So it is called capillaries. It consists of plasma and white blood cells. So they consist of two type of component, plasma and white blood cell. It is mainly help with the exchange of material between the blood and the tissue fluids. So they are exchanging this material from in the form of various types of material, food material, excretory product, oxygen, vitamin, mineral, all the substance which is carried by means of a lymph from blood to tissue fluids. And we will see that anatomical representation of the lymph node, and the secretion of swollen of lymph node and excessive lymph fluids are given in the form of diagrammatic representation. And thank you very much. We will see about two types of connective tissues. One is called dense connective tissue, another one is called fluid connective tissue. So muscular tissue and nervous tissue we will see in the next class. Before that, thank you very much. I am Sadish Kumar from Biological Science Department. Thank you.